Jason stood by his wife's hospital bed, smiling with nervous energy. It had been a long night. Amara, tired but glowing, held their newborn baby in her arms. She looked at Jason with hope in her eyes. But the moment Jason looked at the baby, everything changed. He stared, his smile slowly fading. The baby girl was beautiful. Her tiny fingers moved, and her big brown eyes blinked in the soft light. But her skin was deep brown, much darker than either Jason or Amara. Jason's face turned cold. He stepped back. What is this?" he whispered. Amara looked up confused. "She's our daughter, Jason." Jason shook his head slowly. "No, she's not. My skin isn't that dark. Yours isn't either. What are you trying to pull?" Amara's heart dropped. "Jason, what are you saying?" Jason's voice rose. "Who did you cheat with, Amara? Tell me the truth now." "Jason, I didn't cheat. I swear. I don't know why. Maybe it's from my grandfather's side." "He was." "Stop it," Jason shouted, causing a nurse to peek through the curtain. "I trusted you, and you lied. You lied to me, and now I'm supposed to raise someone else's child." Amara's eyes filled with tears. She reached out. "Please, Jason, listen." But Jason had already turned around. He stormed out of the room and never came back. The next day, papers arrived at Amara's door. Divorce. 12 years passed. Amara raised Nova on her own. She worked 2 jobs, skipped meals, and gave up sleep just to give Nova a good life. Nova grew up asking about her father, but Amara always said, "He wasn't ready for a gift like you." Nova was kind, quiet, and different. She loved the stars. Every night, she sat on the roof, watching the sky like it was calling her. Sometimes lights flickered above her head when she was deep in thought. Strange things happened around her, but Amara didn't ask questions. Not yet. One rainy afternoon, while walking home from the grocery store, Amara passed an old bookstore that had been closed for years. But today, the lights were on. She stopped, curious. As she stepped closer, the door creaked open by itself. A voice called from the shadows. "Come in, Amara." She froze. "How do you know my name?" An old man with silver hair and sharp blue eyes stepped forward. He wore a black coat, even though it wasn't cold. His voice was calm, almost kind. "I've been waiting to speak with you." Amara hesitated, then slowly walked in. The smell of old paper and dust filled the air. "I don't have time for games," she said. "I have a daughter at home." "I know," the man said, reaching behind the counter. "That's why I'm here." He pulled out a small sealed envelope. Her name was written on it in neat handwriting. Amara didn't move. "What is that?" The old man stepped closer. "This is for you. You won't understand it now, but someday you'll need it." He placed it in her hands. Amara looked down at the envelope. It felt warm. She looked up again, but the man was gone. That night, Amara sat on her bed, turning the envelope over and over. Finally, she opened it. Inside was a single note. The words were written in black ink. "The truth is written in your child's blood. When the time is right, test it." Her hands trembled. She read it again, then again. She thought about the night Nova was born. Jason's face, his anger, the dark skin, the strange lights Nova sometimes saw. And now, this letter. "What truth?" she whispered. She looked at her sleeping daughter, peaceful and perfect. Whatever the truth was, Amara knew it was big, bigger than betrayal, bigger than race, bigger than anything she'd ever imagined. And outside the house, in the dark sky above, a small blinking light hovered for just a moment, then vanished. 12 years had passed since Nova was born. She was now a quiet, thoughtful girl. She didn't talk much, but she noticed everything. She saw things others didn't. She'd understood things her teachers couldn't explain. Her mind was sharp like a blade, and her eyes always looked like they were searching for something far away. One morning at school, Nova was solving math problems on the board. The teacher stood frozen, watching her. The questions were meant for high school students, but Nova, just 12, solved them in seconds. Her classmates laughed behind her back. "She's so weird," one whispered. "She thinks she's smarter than everyone," another said. Nova heard them, but said nothing. Later that day, she sat alone at lunch, staring at the sky. The clouds seemed to move with her thoughts. A soft breeze touched her cheek, as if the wind knew her name. At home, Amara watched her daughter from the kitchen window. Nova was special. She had always known that. But lately, strange things were happening. Light bulbs flickered when Nova got upset. The cat refused to come near her when she was thinking hard. One time, Amara swore she saw a spoon float off the table, just for a second, before it dropped again. She remembered the letter from the old man. The truth is written in your child's blood. When the time is right, test it. Amara had hidden the letter in a drawer. She tried to forget about it. But now, she couldn't. That evening, Nova was reading a book on the couch when she stood up suddenly. "Mom," she said, "where's the letter?" Amara froze. "What letter?" Nova looked straight into her mother's eyes. "The one from the bookstore. I know about it." Amara's hands trembled. "How do you know?" "I dreamed about it," Nova said, "but it felt real. I saw the man. He told me to ask." Amara opened the drawer and handed her the letter. Nova read it silently. Then she looked up. "What does it mean?" "I don't know," Amara said softly. "But it's time we find out." The next morning, Amara took Nova to a private lab across the city. It was hidden behind a regular clinic, but a friend had told her this place tested special cases. A tired-looking man in a lab coat met them at the front desk. His name was Dr. Kessler. He had gray hair, thick glasses, and a nervous smile. Amara whispered, "We need a full DNA test. I want to know everything." Dr. Kessler raised an eyebrow but nodded. "We can do that." He took a small blood sample from Nova's arm and disappeared into the lab. Nova and Amara waited in silence for over an hour. Finally, Dr. Kessler rushed back in. His face was pale. He was shaking. "You need to come see this," he said. Inside the lab, computer screens flashed red and blue. Data scrolled too fast to read. "This can't be right," he muttered. "I've never seen anything like this." He showed them the results. "Your daughter's DNA is not normal. It's not even fully human." Amara's heart dropped. "What do you mean?" Dr. Kessler looked at them both. "Her DNA has sequences we've never seen on this planet. It's not a mutation. It's something ancient, something not from Earth." Nova didn't speak. Her eyes were wide, but calm. Just then, the lights flickered. The machines beeped loudly. Suddenly, Nova stepped back and clutched her head. A voice echoed in her mind. Startled, "It is time to awaken," she gasped. The windows shook. "Nova!" Amara cried, running to her. Nova stood still. Her eyes glowed faintly. She looked at her mother and said quietly, "Mom, I'm not just human." Outside the lab, a black car waited down the street. Inside it, a man in a suit watched the building closely. He spoke into a radio. "Target confirmed. Begin phase 1. The next day, Nova didn't go to school. She sat in her room, quiet and still, looking at her hands. They looked normal, but now she knew they weren't. She wasn't just a regular girl. Amara sat across from her, holding a cup of cold tea. Neither of them spoke for a long time. Then Nova finally asked, "Mom, what am I?" Amara took a deep breath. "I don't know, but I know you're mine. You're still my daughter, no matter what." Nova nodded, but her thoughts were far away. "That man at the lab, he said my DNA is not from Earth." Amara stood up. "We'll figure this out together." But as she walked to the window, she noticed something strange. A black car, parked across the street. She stepped back slowly and pulled the curtain shut. That night, Amara couldn't sleep. She checked the windows again. The car was still there. Nova was already in bed, pretending to sleep, but her eyes were open, and her mind was busy. She kept hearing whispers, soft voices inside her head. "Awaken. Find the key. They will come soon." Suddenly, her room glowed with a soft blue light. It came from under her bed. Nova sat up and looked. There was something there, a small box she had never seen before. She reached for it. The moment she touched it, it opened on its own. Inside was a silver bracelet, glowing faintly. Nova slipped it onto her wrist. And then, everything changed. Downstairs, Amara heard a loud knock on the door. Her heart jumped. Bang, bang, bang. "Who is it?" she called out. A deep voice replied, "Federal Science Division. Open the door. We have questions about your daughter." Amara froze. She looked through the peephole. 2 men in suits. 1 woman, all wearing dark glasses. And behind them, the same black car. She didn't open the door. Instead, she ran upstairs. "Nova, you have to go." "But—" "No time." Amara grabbed a coat and opened the back window. Out the fire escape. "Now." Nova climbed down just as the front door was kicked open. Agents rushed in. "She's not here," one of them growled. Another one found the open window. They ran. "Track them. Now." Nova and Amara ran through alleyways and empty streets. The bracelet on Nova's wrist glowed brighter as they moved. Finally, they stopped to rest near an old bus stop. "Mom, who are those people?" "I don't know," Amara said. "But they knew about the DNA test. Someone's been watching us." Nova looked down at the bracelet. "I think this is the key," she said. "It called me. It showed up right after I heard the voice." Suddenly, the bracelet blinked 3 times. Blue, blue, white. Then a hologram appeared in the air above it. It showed a map, a blinking dot. Far away, deep in the mountains. Nova pointed. "That's where we need to go." Amara looked around. "Then we better leave the city. Fast." But they weren't alone. From a nearby rooftop, a drone hovered silently. It zoomed in on Nova's face. Inside a hidden base, red alarms began to flash. A woman in a black suit stared at the screen. "We found her, and she's activated the device." Another agent beside her asked, "Should we capture her now?" The woman smiled coldly. "No, let her run." She turned to the others. "Because we're not the only ones looking for her now." They had left the city that night, using an old car borrowed from a friend. Amara didn't say much, just drove fast, checking the mirrors every few seconds. Nova sat in the back seat, holding the glowing bracelet tightly. It didn't blink anymore, but it felt warm on her wrist, like it was waiting for something. After hours of driving, they reached the mountains. The sky was dark. Stars blinked above them like tiny eyes watching in silence. Nova pointed to a narrow trail. "The map says we have to walk now." Amara looked around. "Are you sure?" Nova nodded. "I can feel it pulling me." They packed water, food, and a flashlight, then started walking into the forest trail. The deeper they went, the quieter everything became. No birds, no wind, just silence. After 2 hours of climbing, they reached a flat rocky cliff. Suddenly, Nova's bracelet blinked 3 times. Blue, blue, white. Then the ground trembled beneath their feet. Nova grabbed her mother's hand. "It's here." The cliffside started to shift. A part of the mountain slowly opened, revealing a hidden metal door. Lights glowed around its edges. The bracelet blinked again. Nova stepped forward and touched the door with her hand. Click. The door slid open. Behind it was a circular room with glowing walls, filled with strange symbols and a soft humming sound, like the mountain itself was breathing. Inside the hidden chamber, a small floating device hovered toward them. It scanned Nova silently, then projected a hologram in the air. A tall, glowing figure appeared. It looked human, but its eyes were pure light. It spoke in a calm voice. "Nova, daughter of the Starchild line. Welcome home." Amara gasped. "What is this?" The figure continued. "You carry the ancient blood of the Wanderers, those who came from the stars long ago. They lived among humans and left their legacy in the DNA of a chosen few." Nova blinked. "You mean I'm part alien?" "Not alien," the voice said. "You are the bridge, human and starborn, meant to awaken when the earth is in danger." Nova looked confused. "Danger? From who?" Suddenly, the walls turned red. A loud alarm rang out. The figure vanished, and the voice said one last thing. They found you. Run. Outside the cave, black helicopters appeared over the trees. Agents in armor dropped down the ropes. One of them spoke into a headset. Target confirmed. Engage. Inside the chamber, the bracelet glowed so bright it hurt Nova's eyes. The floor opened beneath them, revealing a hidden tunnel. Amara grabbed Nova's hand. Come on. They jumped in just as the metal door above exploded. They ran through the dark tunnel, lit only by the bracelet's blue glow. Behind them, footsteps and shouts echoed louder and louder. Nova looked back. They're right behind us. Amara pointed ahead. There, a light. At the end of the tunnel was a circular platform. Nova stepped onto it, and everything shook. Suddenly, a beam of light shot up around her, forming a shield. The agents tried to follow, but the beam knocked them back. Nova floated up slightly inside the light. Then a deep voice spoke again, this time inside Nova's mind. Your powers have begun to wake, but there is more you must learn. Go north. Find the gate. The light faded. Nova dropped back to the ground. Amara ran to her. Are you okay? Nova nodded slowly. Yes, but we're not safe yet. Far away, in a secret underground room, the woman in black stared at a screen. She's activated the chamber, she said. A man beside her looked worried. Do we go after her? The woman shook her head. No. Now we wait, because if she finds the gate, we will lose. They had escaped the agents for now, but Nova was changing. She could feel it in her body, in her thoughts, in her dreams. Her bracelet now glowed even when she slept. Sometimes, she could hear voices from far away. Sometimes she would see flashes, memories that didn't belong to her. Strange worlds, tall towers, ships floating in space, people who looked like her and people who didn't. They reached a cold valley surrounded by white mountains. According to the bracelet's map, the gate was near. Nova pointed to an old, broken building hidden in the snow. It looked like a church, but it had strange carvings on the walls, symbols that glowed faintly when Nova walked closer. Amara shivered. This place feels ancient. Nova nodded. It's calling me. They pushed open the heavy doors and stepped inside. The air was warm, too warm for a place buried in snow. Inside, a glowing stone sat in the middle of the room. As Nova walked toward it, the bracelet lit up, and the stone responded, rising slowly from the floor. Then, suddenly, a beam of light hit Nova's forehead, and her mind filled with visions. She gasped. She saw a ship crashing to Earth thousands of years ago, a woman stepping out, holding a glowing baby wrapped in cloth. That woman looked like her. Then she saw Jason, her father, but younger, in a lab. He was working with secret files, alien research, DNA samples. He was laughing, proud. Then suddenly, panic. One of the samples glowed. Jason touched it by mistake. He collapsed. Later, doctors said he was fine, but something had changed in him. Nova snapped back to the present, breathless. Dad, he's part of this. He was exposed to alien DNA before I was even born. Amara stepped back, shocked. So, you weren't born different because of me. It was him. Nova nodded slowly. He gave me this, without knowing. Just then, they heard a soft mechanical click. They weren't alone. From the back of the building, someone stepped out of the shadows. A tall man in a dark coat. His face was familiar. Amara whispered, Jason. It was him. Nova's father. But his eyes were different, cold and glowing faintly blue. Nova, he said in a quiet voice. You were never supposed to awaken. They warned me, but I didn't listen. Amara stood in front of Nova. What do you want? Jason stepped closer. They're coming, Amara. The ones from the sky. And Nova is the key. I tried to stop it, but it's too late now. Nova looked at him, her heart racing. Why did you leave us? Jason's voice cracked. Because I was afraid. I saw the darkness inside me. And I saw it in you the moment you were born. But I was wrong. You're not a threat. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small glowing device. This is your real history. He handed it to her. Before Nova could say anything, the walls of the old building began to shake. A loud hum filled the room. The ceiling above them split open, and a beam of light shone down. A massive ship hovered above them, silent and watching. Jason whispered, "They found us." Amara grabbed Nova's hand. Jason looked up, then back at Nova. "Whatever happens next, trust your blood." Suddenly, the bracelet blinked red. A voice spoke inside Nova's head. "Gate confirmed. Begin memory merge." Nova screamed. The device in her hand activated, and her eyes turned bright white. Jason ran to her. "It's the merge. Her mind is connecting with the memories of those before her." Amara held her daughter's hand. "Nova, stay with me. I'm here." Nova's eyes were white, glowing like 2 stars. Her voice sounded distant, layered with other voices. "I see it all." She saw the wanderers, the ancient star travelers who came to Earth long ago. They came not to conquer, but to protect Earth from a coming war. They left behind seeds of their DNA, hidden in bloodlines. And now, after hundreds of years, one had awakened. Nova was that seed. She was a mix of human and starborn, chosen to carry the last message of peace or war. The giant ship above the church let out a deep hum. The walls of the building trembled. A beam of light pulled Jason up into the air, lifting him slowly toward the ship. Amara screamed, "Jason." Jason looked down. "It's okay, I have to go. They're calling me back, but Nova has to make the choice now." The bracelet on Nova's arm stopped blinking. It turned black, then projected a new hologram. A circle of symbols appeared in the air. A glowing handprint pulsed in the center. The voice returned. "Nova, you are the gate now. You choose. Open the path to the stars, or close it forever." Nova looked at her mother. Amara stepped closer. "This is your choice, but whatever you decide, I believe in you." Nova took a deep breath and placed her hand on the symbol. A shockwave burst from the bracelet, pushing everything back. The sky opened above them. Stars moved. Time bent. And then, silence. Where the light faded, the ship was gone. Jason, gone with it. But Nova stood tall, glowing faintly with a calm power in her eyes. "I didn't choose war," she said softly. "I chose to protect Earth. I closed the gate." Amara hugged her, tears in her eyes. "You did the right thing." Nova smiled gently. "But they'll try again one day. I'll be ready." 3 years later, Nova is now a young leader, quiet, strong, and wise beyond her years. She helps people. She studies the stars. She waits, just in case the sky calls again. And every night, she wears the bracelet, not as a weapon, but as a reminder. That truth is not in the skin, but in the blood that connects us all.